Monster Hunter World, released in January 2018, and as of 2023, is the best-selling Monster Hunter game in the series and Capcom's #1 best-selling game ever. 5 years after release, there are people who have not played the game or started and never finished. This video was made to help those people see what they may be missing out on. So, are you on the fence on whether you should purchase Monster Hunter World? Or are you wondering if it's worth picking up Monster Hunter World again 5 years after release? Let's get into a review of Monster Hunter World in 2023. What is Monster Hunter World? Let me start this review by saying, hey, I'm Tails, and thanks for stopping by. Monster Hunter World is my first Monster Hunter game, and I think for most people this is true for them as well. I know that I can offer a unique perspective on this game, as my review of the game is based on it and it alone, not past titles or nostalgia. I also offer the unique perspective of having just finished this game for the first time this year. I don't have opinions from years ago making their way into a bias, or forgetting information and experiences from playing in the past. I'm in the perfect position to let you know how Monster Hunter World is in 2023, because that's when I played it. Monster Hunter World and its expansion Iceborne are what they sound like, a solo or multiplayer game where you hunt monsters. And these monsters range in all different types and designs, from fish and birds all the way up to dinosaurs and huge dragons. As you hunt and defeat monsters, who by the way are no cakewalk to take down, you earn the opportunity to carve the carcass of the monster you just beat up for pieces needed to craft armor and weapons. The armor and weapons through the entire game are made from the creatures and ores found throughout the maps you run through while hunting, and make for a very satisfying gameplay loop of hunt, craft, repeat. And the fun part is, every monster you defeat leads you into another monster fight that is upping the difficulty, and the gear created from the parts of the last monster you beat will help you beat the new one. Monster Hunter is essentially doing boss fights every fight, and the bosses hit hard. Your success in any hunt will be dependent on your skills in dodging, hitting at opportune times, and overall outlasting a foe that is, for all intents and purposes, stronger than you are in raw power. As I just said, Monster Hunter is a gameplay loop of hunting, crafting, and repeat. So let me review the game based on this gameplay loop, starting with hunting. Monster Hunter World has you taking the role of a hunter on a research team who is learning about the ecology of the different biomes you play in and defending a settlement in the new world. As you explore the different regions of the game, you come across bigger and tougher monsters whom you've been assigned to eliminate. At the start of the game, you know nothing about the monsters you're assigned to deal with, but you learn more about them as you explore the areas they've been sighted in by collecting tracks, fallen scales and loose hair, and evidence of how they live in these regions. I've never felt more like a ranger tracking prey than stepping into the wild to track down the game's first challenging monster. I'm running all over like, ooh, hey, ugh, and then, oh my gosh. Now I have to fight that thing? Wait. Don't get ahead of yourself here, Tails. Right. So you become a ranger out in the wild, collecting evidence and learning about the monsters in the game. You do this by tracking the monster down, which has its own progression system throughout the entire game, and it makes tracking and finding monsters easier the more you discover. While you're out on your hunt, you also have the opportunity to collect supplies, herbs, insects, ore, bones, and more, which are used in crafting items, traps, weapons and armor, ammunition, and a bunch more. Monster Hunter has a pretty robust crafting system outside of the armor and weapons, and a lot of your supplies can be gathered out in the wild. You even craft some of these items while you're on the go, which adds some cool mechanics to the hunts themselves. There are a variety of regions throughout the game which change their climates, benefits, and hazards to the hunter and monsters, and the overall aesthetic you're fighting in. The game starts in the ancient forest, which has all the beautiful greenery, giant trees, and a lot of vertical space to climb and chase. Other regions include a desert area, a volcanic zone, a dank swamp-like area, and in the Iceborne expansion, it adds an icy tundra as well. I have my favorite area, but I honestly like them all. They're unique, fun, atmospheric, and great spots to have a giant monster fight occur. The monsters you hunt are some of the most amazing, diverse, and scary creatures I've fought in video games. I can't help but be immersed in the world I'm trekking through. When I come across these behemoths that I have to take down with oversized weapons, It's just a sweet feeling to be both scared and excited at the same time. Monsters come in all shapes and sizes, from birds to fish, dragons and dinosaurs. I've seen a werewolf-looking one. There's monsters that eat smaller monsters to change their attack patterns, and even a monster that uses other monsters in its mouth to fight you with. It's crazy. And not only are the monsters fighting you, but they have their own territory that they're trying to keep hold of as well. So when another monster enters their territory, a turf war happens, and the monsters fight each other for a bit and do a ton of damage to each other. The whole experience of tracking, locating, fighting, and defeating monsters is just, man, it's just so stinking cool. You start each mission unsure of what you're going to run into, but the tracks and evidence starts to reveal a few things. Then you locate the thing you're searching for and realize that now you have to fight that thing. And at first it feels like you have to, but after getting smacked around for a while, you start to learn how the monster attacks. Then it turns into now you get to fight it. It's exhilarating to dodge through its attacks and counterattack with your oversized weapons. And those weapons are crafted from the monsters you defeated before. And when the hunt is all over, the monster's all like, and this music plays. And you get the opportunity to carve up that monster and collect pieces for crafting. And you'd think that that's the crux of the whole game. But really, the crafting and growing your character's power level, as well as your own skill in maneuvering through tough fights, is the most satisfactory part of the game. You beat this monster, congrats. Now it's on to another monster, and it's harder than the one you just beat. Or, now you have to fight 2 of that monster you just beat, and there's a time limit. Good luck.
Bruh.
I could keep talking about all the monsters and environments in the game, but I'll save some of the more details of the locations and fights for another video to save you some time. Crafting in Monster Hunter is the next big pillar of the game. After each hunt, you earn parts from the monster you beat, plus use other supplies like herbs and insects that you picked up along the way to craft gear, items, weapons, and armor. Let's start with the coolest stuff first. The armor and the weapons are really sweet because of how oversized they are, plus the resemblance to the monsters you chopped up to create them works so well. As you beat up a monster to craft all the weapons and armor you can make from it, you'll start to look like a humanoid version of the monster, having donned its scales, claws, bones, and fur for yourself. The armor you craft comes in 5 separate pieces: the head, chest, arms, waist, and legs. And each piece will have a bunch of stats that are added to your hunter. These stats usually make sense based on what you made the armor out of. If you're using parts from a bulky, hard-hitting monster, your armor may have a lot of bulk with some perks to hitting harder yourself. If you fought a monster that used a lot of fire attacks on you, the armor you create will likely have resistance to fire attacks for yourself. And the further in the game you go, the more options for armor you get to create, which adds an awesome puzzle where you mix and match armor pieces from different monsters with all their perks and create the best armor set for the current job. At one point in the game, you may need armor that has heavy ice resistances because the monster you're going up against shoots a lot of ice at you. So you'll craft up all the armor you can with ice resistances, along with the other perks the armor provides, and go up against your next monster. But after that ice monster, there might be a fire monster that your armor is weak to, so it's time to craft up some new armor and beat that one. It's a great system, and it gives you a good reason to fight each monster multiple times. And for those of you who like to make your characters look awesome just like I do, there's even more incentive to go fight monsters multiple times for parts, because there's a layered armor system, which lets you use armor with the stats and perks you want, but have it look like armor you think looks the best. It's a way to make your hunter look awesome while retaining the stats and perks you want for hunts. It's so cool. And just like the armor, weapons have their own perks and bonuses for wielding them against monsters. You have raw damage, elemental damages, and status ailments to inflict on monsters, which increase as you fight tougher and tougher monsters. Each monster you fight has weaknesses to elements and status ailments, as well as resistances of their own, so having a variety of high-power weapons to take down the variety of monsters you hunt makes for a rewarding loop to increase the size of your armory. The weapons also usually resemble the monster you created the weapon out of, which is such a nice touch when you're crafting your gear. And let's not forget that Monster Hunter has 14 different weapons for you to play that all have very unique playstyles. Want to hit swiftly and dodge nimbly through monster attacks? Try out the dual blades or the longsword. Want to hit from range and stay out of the monster's face? Try out the bow or heavy bowgun. Want to hit like a truck and see some huge damage numbers? Take up the greatsword or the charge blade. The weapons are so cool, and there's no doubt you'll find a weapon that fits the playstyle you want to hunt with. You are always free to change up weapons at any point in your playthrough, and some of the fun of the real late game is learning each of the weapon playstyles and crafting a set of each weapon to mix things up. Just a small comment here on items you can craft outside of armor and weapons. Monster Hunter has a ton of consumables that help you through hunts, and the system for making them is all pretty easy going, but awesome. You can craft anything while you're in the hunt itself as long as you have the items for it, and you can always access your items from the safe zones of each region and from the main hub areas outside of hunts. There's potions, temporary stat boosters, traps that pin monsters down so you can beat them up for a bit unharmed, tools that help you block attacks or glide around for mounting attempts, and a ton more. I won't get into much detail in this video about what all you can do, but know that there's a lot of ways to customize your playstyle and success rate of hunts just through the items you bring with you on hunts. Boiled down, that's what Monster Hunter is, but the depth of the game, the intricacies of what you can pull off in a fight, the environments in which you hunt, the music, goodness, there's just so much that Monster Hunter does right. I didn't even mention to you that you can do this whole game with friends and take on monsters with up to a party of 4 people. The monsters scale based on how many players are in the hunt, so not only will you have more power to take it down with your friends, but the monsters will also hit harder in return. If you don't have friends to play with, you can shoot an SOS flare, and this will allow anyone to join your hunt and give you a hand, which rewards all players with carving parts from defeated monsters and some other bonuses for just being helpful. You have a companion in your game that also helps you in hunts. They're called palicos, and it's the most handy cat that you've ever had. It'll fight with you, lay traps, heal you, show you interactables that you may have missed. It'll find other cat allies to fight alongside you, and a bunch more. My cat Punchy is a champ, as I've done all this game solo with my cat, and there are many hunts where I was a goner if Punchy hadn't jumped in and saved the day. It's a great mechanic in the game to have companions take some of the heat here and there. Alright, I'll stop getting into the weeds here. There's upcoming videos for that if you're interested. For now, the repeat section of this video is just to say that there's 31 unique monsters to fight in Monster Hunter World, and if you finish the base game and want more fights, the Ice World expansion adds 40 more unique monsters to fight. I originally only played the base game, but when I found out just how much content Iceborne adds to the game, it was an easy purchase, and I've been so happy with my time in both games. And as of 2023, World and Iceborne frequently go on sale for 50% off on Steam, so you're not even breaking the bank to get them. So, you may be wondering if you should purchase Monster Hunter World even though it's 5 years old. Well, I would tell you yes. Yes! The entire game is completely there, no updates or patches needed, and the reviews have been in for years saying that this game is incredible. In our current world of games that launch and flop on arrival, you can't miss on Monster Hunter World because it's already passed with flying colors. Or maybe you're wondering if you should play Monster Hunter World again even though you haven't played in a really long time. I would still tell you yes. There's a very active community that plays every day and all are very helpful. You won't wait long when you use the SOS flare button to find random people to help you in hunts, and the game is cycling through all its events constantly so you can get materials and builds from seasonal events of the past. Heck, if you want to play together, jump in our Discord server and let us know you're looking for someone to join you on a hunt and we can set something up. In summary, this game is incredible and deserving of all the high reviews and praise it received. If you like boss battles, high action, and overall feeling like a boss, Monster Hunter World and the Iceborne expansion will not disappoint. I made this review to share about a game that I really love because I know there are people debating whether it's worth playing a game that has some years behind it. And if I can give you more information to make that decision and really love the time you put into this game, then this video was worth doing. The video did take me some time to put together, so if you're hearing this and you enjoyed what you saw, would you hit the like button? Liking a video shows me that this meant something to somebody, and it gets the video out to more people who otherwise wouldn't see it, which helps me help others with their debate on whether they should give this game a try. And if you'd like to share your opinions on Monster Hunter with others who may be debating on the game, leave a comment with what you enjoyed or didn't enjoy about the game. The more information someone can gather before they make a purchase and sink hours into a game, the better it is for them. Thanks for being helpful, thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.